If you were unfamiliar with the Liver King up until this point, here's a little bit of what he's all about. How good was that? Okay, now he's recently been busted on some steroid accusations, which he himself has recently confirmed. But that's not what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about his business success, selling supplements online, because that's what we talk about here on the channel, how to use Amazon, the biggest store in the world, to make yourself rich and support your family and put your kids through school and pay for the mortgage. Like, that's what we're talking about. So from that perspective, that sort of business case study perspective, I want to take a look at how Liver King was able to capture so much attention in a marketplace where there's tons of supplements that were competing with him. There's a ton of other fitness influencers. Why him? And what it reminded me of so much was a framework from the book Expert Secrets by Russell Brunson. If you haven't seen this, it's a great book. And Russell Brunson has a framework in this book called the prolific zone, and I'll explain how it works using an example. Right. So let me just ask you, like, what would you say is the mainstream advice in health and fitness in Liver King's space, right? If you ask a reasonable, normal person, what would they give you in terms of health and fitness advice? They'd probably say something like, eat balanced meals with carbs, protein, and greens, do some exercise, cardio, lift weights, right? That's the mainstream advice. And you know what? It works. It's very effective and it gets the job done. But because it's so mainstream, because that's the advice that everybody hears and that you can Google, it's not interesting. Nor does it polarize people in the way that Liver King has. It doesn't say, this is the thing that you've been told is a lie. And so people can say, I knew it was false, right? It doesn't give people that feeling. And it's just bland and kind of boring. And everyone says it, so consumers' eyes glaze over and they're not driven to a purchase action. But on the other hand, if you veer too far away from the mainstream advice and you have some really crazy advice, people won't listen to that either. The example that Russell Brunson cites is there's a documentary called Eat the Sun, which showcases people advocating for staring at the sun for 45, 60 minutes a day to get a lot of the nutrients that you'd normally get from food. Just look at the sun. It'll get the job done, right? Not true, crazy, and too crazy to get any sort of adoption, right? People can see through it. It's not interesting because it's too far out there and it just straight up doesn't work. The Liver King, what he got right about this is his messaging landed in that prolific zone. It was in a zone that was different yet familiar. The stuff that he advocates for, like taking barefoot walks in nature, or eating the organs of animals like our ancestors used to do, or shutting off the Wi-Fi at night because the signals could be harmful. People sort of already, some people at least, are inclined to believe this because they're like, okay, that sort of resonates with me. I always thought that we should do things in a more old-fashioned way. And here is Liver King in this prolific zone, neither mainstream nor super crazy, sharing his message. And there were a bunch of other reasons for his virality, such as appearance and all that, but I don't want to get into that. It's really about how he took a step back and thought about how to present the products. He told a good story, right? And the supplements are really a tie-in to the story and are easily monetized as a result of the story and presentation and this prolific zone that he has occupied. And so for that reason, I think, he told a better story than competitors and so got the traffic. It's not like there weren't other liver supplements. It's not like there weren't other protein shakes, right? He just presented it differently, told a different story. And so for you, if you're selling on Amazon, I mean, think about all your competitors and think about how generic and mainstream so much of their messaging is, right? It's you can come in and disrupt. You just have to take a step back and think about a different story, perhaps. For more strategies, tactics, and a roadmap to grow to 7 and 8 figures selling on Amazon, I wrote a free 40-page book, and I'll drop it in the comments of this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.